Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Malicious Compliance. In today's episode, cameras have to be on, and no matter what. Fine by me, don't mind the pump. Not touch clients' websites? Sure. Spider squish. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Cameras have to be on, and no matter what. Fine by me, don't mind the pump. I am a project manager and data scientist. I manage lots of different public health related projects. There is one project in particular that includes a really demanding team from a federal government department. I recently returned back to work from maternity leave. I work in my office 3 days a week. On those days, I have to pump breast milk at regular intervals for my baby. Luckily, I have my own private office and can usually just keep on working, emails, reports, etc., while I pump. I have a hands-free, wearable pump which is convenient, but still definitely obvious if I am wearing it. It pokes out about my shirt and is not exactly silent. Recently, we have a Zoom call scheduled during one of the times I needed to pump. Instead of missing the meeting, I figured I would just keep my camera off so I could wear my pump and still participate and listen. Heck, I was even in my office and not working from home. I felt like I was being a pretty committed employee. Meeting starts, a few people have their cameras off. The lead makes the announcement. I just want to remind everyone that our expectation is that you will have your cameras on because this is not a virtual meeting, it is a simulated in-person meeting, whatever that means. I sent a quick private message to explain I was paying attention, but pumping, no response to me, just instead, again, the expectation is that all cameras will be on. So fine. I turn my camera on for this meeting of about 20 people. The camera isn't aimed at my chest, but certainly the top of my pump is clearly visible. I unmuted myself, so you could also clearly hear the pump, and just said, "Thank you for your patience, I was adjusting my breast pump." The meeting continued awkwardly, with several other team managers letting me know privately it was fine to turn my camera off, but at that point, there really was no point in turning it off. At the most recent meeting, the announcement was, "Please turn on your cameras if you are comfortable doing so." This is not a virtual meeting, it is a simulated, in-person meeting. My head hurts trying to figure this out. Corporate talk is like 80% needlessly redefining things in ways that make no sense. I believe that's useless middle management speak for I gotta come up with nonsense to nitpick about or they'll figure out I'm actually useless. Please turn on your cameras if you are comfortable doing so. Congrats OP, you did that for everyone. I hope the lead was shitting their pants for the next week, expecting the call from HR. OP could have made a stink and had them canned on the spot anywhere I've ever worked, especially after attempting to explain in private. Funny and sad how you have to shame people to make a point. Glad you were able to retain your dignity while making a point. Kudos and congratulations. Someone posted a story like this a while back, except instead of pumping she was undergoing chemo. That was a fun read. Someone got fired because of that. Well, you don't have to, it just happens to be very effective. Brilliant. Also, depending on where you are located, some states require that you be given a break from work so that you may pump. The fact you were working during your pump break could also have gotten someone somewhere in trouble. Added to that, you are required to be given a private space to pump. By forcing you to turn on your camera, they are violating that privacy. And this was all done by a federal government department. Interesting. I work in the federal government and we have a private room and everything. A little fridge, nice seats inside, and a huge sign that absolutely no one can use it for anything other than pumping as people were trying to use it as a small meeting space. Make them more uncomfortable, turn up your mic and bring closer to the pump and aim camera lower down. Simulated live, so your boss is just calling virtual another name. Please turn on your cameras if you are comfortable doing so. Sounds like a perfect opportunity for a repeat performance, since you are apparently comfortable enough just to see what the next wording change would be. I would say you got them embarrassingly good. I never understood the camera must be on the policies. If my camera view will be distracting to the meeting, then I leave my camera off. As when I join a meeting on my phone while out walking and such. I've actually been in a meeting while trekking in the mountains, and except for a quick showing of the views on request, my camera was off all of the meeting. Where I work, we usually leave the cameras off, especially in large meetings. Not touch clients' websites? Sure. Keeping it vague for safety. Used to do client a favor, and I updated and fixed their clients' websites, along with creating new pages and whatnot. One of her clients complained about the design, but I had told I was doing a rush job and would need to get an actual designer to do it. Client was rude to me and threw me under the bus. Told me I was not to touch clients' websites, with client CC. Okay. I am not touching anything. Need pages created? Send it back to designing company for quote. Need stuff updated? Send it back to IT for quote. Staff asking me for help? Sorry, can't touch client property. Used to spend 30 minutes to do a task. Now, as I have to prepare documentation for the proper departments, it takes me 90 minutes to do a task. I'm just complying. I personally would have reverted all that I had done and told her here it is as it was, good luck, I won't touch it again, and then do what you eventually did. I like your thinking. Unfortunately, I would think that might cause OP a problem for touching the client's website. Purpose OP could undo the final change and get away with it, but even that might cause an issue. Undoing work will get you in legal trouble most often. Wow, that sounds frustrating. It's always important to set clear boundaries with clients to avoid situations like this. Should get fun if you also take care of their domain names when renewal comes up. I once had a client who threatened to sue me for making an update they requested to their site. I can only imagine their face when the response was a backup copy of their site and a notice that we would not be renewing their month-to-month contract. Client gets kickbacks from the other vendors, and those vendors are complaining that they've been getting fewer jobs. Well, hopefully they'll bill the clients appropriately and you'll be billing your client appropriately. TBF, maybe your company wanted to charge for these changes and you were simply doing them for free? More like they charged for the time it would take 90 minutes documentation plus time spent working on it, and I would just charge for the 30 minutes. Spider squish. Not sure if this story really belongs here, since I didn't do it on purpose. But here goes. A lady a couple of cubes over stood up and started screaming about a spider in her cube. Wanted somebody to come get rid of it ASAP. I grabbed a tissue, and she pointed out a spider that was about the size of a quarter, including legs, on the shelf above her computer monitor. I tried to maneuver to get close enough, but she would not get out of the way. She was screaming and jumping up and down and flailing her arms, but forcing me to try to reach around her. As she kept yelling, "Kill it!" I lunged at it, but accidentally caught one of her flailing hands in the process. I accidentally squished the spider by mashing her hand on it. Yicky spider goo all over her hand made her freak out even more. Told her I was sorry, but if she'd gotten out of the way like I'd asked, it wouldn't have happened. Boss just turned his head and chuckled a little, so she couldn't see him, then gave her the rest of the day off. Obviously you work with my sister. LOL. As someone terrified of spiders, I wouldn't have been anywhere near my cubicle while you went spider hunting. At least it got squashed? I would have been hanging around the front door waiting to see if someone was going to come out and tell me it was dead and buried. See? As another fellow arachnophobe, I can empathize with the coworker more easily here. When I find a nope, I cannot leave. I cannot take my eyes off it. I will get out of the way, but if I lose sight of it, my brain will tell me that it fucked off and is now lying in wait and will not let me accept that it's gone/squished/dealt with. It is a completely irrational lizard brain response, and I know this, and yet. I used to run the spider catch and release program. Clear cup and cardstock. After capture, we would check out the specimen, then take outside. Whoever started drama got a lecture on the spider's place in nature. I love you. Don't know who you are, where you are, we will never meet, but you are a great person. I realize intellectually that lots of people somehow learn as little kids to just scream in terror at such things, but man, if they would just shut the F up. Definitely a much better way to deal with them. Unfortunately, I had to act fast and use whatever I could find quickly because she was spazzing out. I intended to catch it, then release it outside, but then gave her the rest of the day off. I have to wonder how many times she's done this before. Actually, I don't recall her taking many sick days or even vacation days in the past. But when she gets all worked up, she becomes useless. Boss probably figured she wasn't going to be effective for a while, so maybe minimize the productivity hit by letting her go get her head back together. I read the title and fully expected to read your story and be outraged at the unnecessary killing of a spider. And doing it gleefully and maliciously? You monster! Instead, I found myself laughing. It's still sad that the spider had to die, but if she had to go, she went in the best way possible. Your coworker is a twit. Your boss sounds like a good one. I hate people that scream to kill spiders. They're incredible, and whether you're scared or not should realize they're important for nature. Wonder if those same people would be okay with flies hounding them? Because guess what, spiders and other garden critters help control fly populations. I know a few that really freak out on both spiders and snakes. Are there any mental health pros here that can enlighten us on this behavior? If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.